you guys. Welcome to the Standard of Truth podcast, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. And this one I'm going to title The Church of Entitlement, right? So y'all know me. When I say this, I'm not referring to how a person looks, but I'm referring to their behavior. We having a ratchet tank sighting. And this one was on a Delta Airlines flight, and it was by a gospel singer who was determined that she was going to make sure everybody was going to hear her song. And I'm come to the conclusion that this world is just going back crazy. But I want you guys to take a look at this.
I'm starting right now on the Billboard. I can sit down and I'll sit down, but the seatbelt signs off. The seatbelt signs off. It's not a disturbance. Once you're here. It's right here, babe.
Okay, have a seat.
I am. I'm gonna have a seat. Okay, so watch me bless him. So I used to sing on planes a long time ago. I just found out I'm up for 2 Grammys. My very first time, you guys. My name is Bobbi Storm, and I'm up for 2 Grammys. I sing for the Lord, and my song is out on all platforms. It's called We Can't Forget 'Em. Michael McDonald cleared it. Warren G is on the original record as well. It's with Regulators. I want to share this with you guys. I wanted to do it when I first got on the plane, but I was like, you know, I haven't done this in a while. I've gotten to the next status, so.
Are you able to be quiet?
But they're enjoying it. So while we're sitting here, could I please?
I'm not enjoying it. So I'm asking you, can you be quiet?
Okay, well, I find that up.
That's a yes or no answer, please.
Am I going to go to jail if I don't?
Can you please answer my question? Are you willing and able to be quiet right now?
I'm doing what the Lord is telling me to do.
I'm asking you a question, yes or no. I'm your flight leader. I need you to follow my instruction.
Okay.
My instruction for you to answer my question. Are you able to be quiet
What do you guys think?
I'm asking you, ma'am.
I'm asking you guys. What do you guys think?
Okay. If you're not able to follow my instruction, you will not be taking this flight.
Ah, okay.
Are you able to be quiet?
If that's the case, then that's fine. If you were the
So that's
person
yes.
in charge of it all.
I'm your flight leader, yes.
If you're the person in charge of it all, then that's fine.
All right. Thank you.
So I'll sing it on the low for y'all in the back, if that's okay. All right. So the song is called We Can't Forget 'Em. All right, and you can download it. I don't know the issue. No one else has ever had an issue, but it's Father, I thank you for each day in my life. I realize I don't need anything. I need you by my side. Shine your light, I follow. Oh Lord, I try to pretend I can do without you, but I'll be out of my mind, doing things my way, losing faith, just living life blind. But I don't want this life no more. Oh Lord, regulate my mind, my heart and soul. I keep forgetting I've been through this before. I keep forgetting that this battle is not mine, it's yours. I keep forgetting we gotta learn the hard way. I keep forgetting we can't forget it. So just so you know, if you're on this flight, you have been, thank you so much. You gotta clap on the low. I know. Thank you so much. So look up Maverick City. Maverick City has an album out right now. They are a contemporary gospel group, and I have been blessed to be a part of that album. That's called We Can't Forget 'Em. Yep, We Can't Forget 'Em. And it's available everywhere. It's on the billboards. So, you know, people like that, you know, they spirits a little, they can't accept it, but I'm here to spread what God needs me to spread. I'm here to spread that because that's what's gotten me where I am. I quit my job in October of last year, and I just went out by faith, and now here I am. So remember the space and chase the storm. All right, y'all. BOBBI, storm like the weather. Thank you guys for sure. Thank you guys. And Bobbi, you're a what now? A 2-time Grammy nominated?
Yes, just as of today, 2-time Grammy nominated with Maverick City, the Maverick way. Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all, okay. First of all, did y'all hear it? You know, I'm charting on the Billboard Charts like right now. I'm sorry. Who are you? Lady, who are you and what the heck is wrong with you? So, all right, we're going to go ahead and I can't even talk. We're going to go ahead and let's just take a look at this. So, this is a lesser known gospel recording artist, Bobbi Storm. She sings with Maverick City Music, and she's from Detroit. And apparently, for whatever reason, Miss Bobbi refused to tame the storm of rebellion that's raging war inside of herself. And so, as you can see, this was on a Delta Airlines flight. And this flight didn't do nothing to nobody, right? Folks are on here, on this plane, minding their business. And Miss Storm decided that she needed to disrupt the peace. And since she was happy about some good news that happened to her, that everybody else on the plane needed to share and bask in her glory. You guys, these people lack emotional maturity and just there's like no situational awareness at all. This is why I gotta put Bobbi Storms on the orangutan spectrum, right? So just to bring y'all up to speed, I've defined what an orangutan is. It's not dermal. It doesn't refer to how a person looks. It is a female imbecile who cannot manage their own misery. And it's more of a reflection of their mentality, and it demonstrates itself in their behavior. So let me kind of just explain what just happened here, right? So we have this unknown, and this is no shade, right? I'm unknown. Don't nobody know who I am. But you have an unknown gospel artist, Bobbi Storm, who was cited on a Delta Airlines flight just being rebellious and out of order. And what's new, right? So modern women today, pagans and professing Christian, let me clarify that. Pagans and professing Christians alike, they seem to be suffering from this severe case of identity, right? So they have this identity crisis and they need affirmation and affectation from any and everybody, and they will stop at nothing to get it. So according to Billboard.com, the singer, she decided to just disrupt the entire plane because she wanted to be seen and definitely heard. And the singer, so what happened was she received news that Maverick City Music was nominated for Best Gospel Artist of the Year for the 2024 Grammys. And so she just felt compelled to not just announce it to everyone on the plane, but she wanted to take the opportunity to serenade everyone on the plane. But y'all, here's the kicker though. Wait for it. Y'all, she wasn't even nominated. Like, she has no album. She don't have no single of her own that was nominated. Bobbi Storm is a featured vocalist on Maverick City Music's album. Like, it's not even, like, she's part of the group. Like, she's just with them. Y'all, the album was nominated for Best Gospel Music Album of the Year. Not Bobbi Storm. No, just Maverick City Music. So listen, I don't want to be overly harsh because y'all know how I can be, but I get it. When you contribute, to a project and then the fruit of the labor of said project is being recognized, right? You naturally, you want to be excited. I mean, you're like, listen, I worked really hard and I'm happy about it. But lady, how are you a whole grown adult and cannot discern? You cannot read the room and understand that there is a time and a place for everything. And what I've noticed is that these people on this plane, they just want to get to where they're going, right? Like without you and Kiki and them showing out. They just want to get in the plane, get settled, put their little neck rest thing on, get the earbuds in, and they just want to land safely. They don't want to entertain any fights, right? They don't feel like dealing with any of your shenanigans. They just want to fly to their destination, get off the plane, and get to where they need to be. But no, you don't care about any of that because you think that the world revolves around you. What I want to know, who is raising these people? Who raised these people? And then to make matters worse, this orangutan wants to invoke the name of God as a means to excuse herself from any accountability. She claims that, I'm just doing what the Lord told her to do. I'm sorry. Where in scripture are we ever commanded to be disruptive and to show out after being given basic, reasonable, it was a reasonable instruction? Ma'am, we need you to be quiet, right? Here's the part that I think a lot of people miss. Rebellion takes on many forms. No, she's not acting like the orangutans on the mutt culture side of the orangutan spectrum. Like she's not being menacing. She's being a little unruly, but she's not thuggish at all. But just because you rebel in a nice and a sweet voice doesn't mean that you're not rebellious, right? So to be fair, her tone is not really that unruly, but her behavior is. It's the entitlement, the idea that you're going to argue or go back and forth with a flight attendant after he has given you a reasonable and direct order. It's a reflection of the rebellion in your heart. And then to make matters work, when the man walks away, she's just completely dismissive of what was said and was determined she was going to have her moment. Yet, she wants everyone to believe that she did this for God's glory. Girl, bye. No. God's not glorified when all the attention is on you and about you. Do not tell me that what you are doing is you're just doing it because God told you today that when you can't convince me that the Lord told her this when she can't even obey the basics that he's already revealed to us in his word. What do I mean? This woman refused to obey a basic authoritative command. It wasn't unreasonable. It was a reasonable command, right? Everyone else has to comply. And it was well within her ability to just complete and carry it out. The man says, ma'am, I need you to be quiet. The flight leader had to tell her several times to be quiet, sit down, and be quiet. Like the instructions were clear. And it was clear that not a whole lot of people really wanted to hear her announcement anyway. Like nobody asked for this. And no one wanted to hear her sing. Yes, she has a beautiful voice. But lady, this is a public airplane. And this is not your personal sound stage. Okay? God didn't have anything to do with anything that you was doing. That was all you, boo-boo. Okay? Your flesh, your narcissistic love of self, right? Your love of the world and the applause from the world that you crave, that's what compelled you to openly defy authority for the sake of getting attention. What I don't understand is, why do these women think that they do not have to submit to authority? Don't tell me that you are a Christian and that you love the Lord when you aren't even submitted to his written word. Something as simple and basic such as, ma'am, be quiet. That was just too hard for her. She was told not once, but like at least 5 times to shut her pie hole. And as soon as the flight attendant walks away, just like a petulant child who's going to sneak to try to do what they want to do anyway, she just starts up again, determined to make these people listen to her singing. What is wrong with these people? I have a difficult time believing that she's just this clueless. Now, she might be. I don't know. But first of all, this is what's crazy about this whole thing. She is the one who posted the whole video of her own rebellious behavior and then had the nerve to caption the video and say, at the end of the day, God is glorified. Ma'am, how? Where? Like, I promise y'all, social media, y'all always hear me say, I'm like, social media has created a generation of self-absorbed, entitled narcissists who are the least self-aware. They're just petulant children trapped in like adult bodies that cannot read a room. They can't discern when they are clearly in the wrong, and they refuse to be held accountable. Here's something that I was so encouraged to see. First of all, I'm glad that they sent a man. There was a male flight leader. And this man almost had to talk to her like she was his child. Did you see that stern look in his face? Like he's looking at her and he's giving her the command as if he was speaking to his daughter. And I think it's a reflection of the fact that modern women today, they have a general disrespect for male authority in general. And so I've saw some comments where they're like, he was being rude and disrespectful. No, he was doing his job and he needed to speak to her that way and put her in a place because she was unable to obey the basic command and she was being unreasonable. At the end of the day, no one gets to do whatever they want to do 100% of the time. You learn this as an adult, right? You don't get the right to assert yourself and just demand to be heard just because, what I feel. This is what I feel, like bubbling up in my spirit. Y'all, listen to this. Let another praise you and not your own mouth. A stranger and not your own lips. You guys, that's Proverbs 27:2. This woman sat on a plane talking about how since she's now gotten to the next status, that she wants to bless the people. But nobody asked for this, ma'am. You're not Patti LaBelle. You're not Gladys Knight. And then she goes on to say that, this is not a disturbance. I'm sorry. To most people it is. Ma'am, you don't sing for the Lord, okay? You sing for the praise and glory of yourself. And apparently, you don't get enough praise and glory from complete strangers, so you just start glorifying and praising yourself. Y'all, these people, these people on the plane did not know her. They don't know you, lady. And even if they did, it is inappropriate to keep going after you. You just keep going. After you were told several times, we need you to sit down and be quiet. We need you to sit down and be quiet. She used this plane as an opportunity, in my opinion, to just clout chase. Why do I say that? Because here's what we know. We know that Maverick City Music, they are up for 2 Grammys. Their album has been nominated as Album of the Year. Not you, lady. Not you. It's them, right? Ma'am, you don't have an album that's been nominated. Why did she feel the need to name drop? She's name dropping Warren G. and the regulators. First, half the people on the plane what's a regulator? Are they regulating the temperature in the air pressure in the aircraft? They don't know what that is. Now she drops Michael McDonald's name. Some of, our white brethren on there might be like, oh yes, we know Michael. They don't know who Warren G is. But once you start name dropping and talking about, the next status, that's when you told on yourself and you demonstrated that it was about you. It was all about you. It wasn't about the Lord at all. He didn't get there was no praise to his glorious grace going on there. You did that because you're thirsty. Okay? You want notoriety and you want attention. And I am so glad that the flight attendant, he did not bow down to any of that queen with the K energy. I'm so glad that he stood firm. He stood firm and he's like, no, you're going to be quiet or you're going to have to get off the plane. Like, you pick. It's your choice. Lastly, she then assumes. She just assumes that people are enjoying her. And then she invokes the name of God to co-sign her rebellion. Hear me clearly. When you work hard at something, on some level, we all want to be recognized for our accomplishments. That is a human reaction. We get it. People understand that. Everybody wants an attaboy, right? Or, attagirl. Yes, you go, sis. But lady, this is not how you get it. It's just not. Besides, whether we are singing or playing an instrument or doing our jobs or even creating content here on the YouTubes, right? We do it for the glory of God. And it just so happens that out of the loving kindness of the Lord, we get to experience some sort of benefit. Not always, but there are times when you do something, God is glorified. It's ultimately for his glory, but there's some good in it for us as well. But when you believe that it's just all about you and that the world revolves around you, you will lack lots of wisdom, right? Because a wise person would have recognized that, you can't just bust out and start like a mini concert on the plane, hoping that a few of the people there listening would just download your song, right? I can get a little free advertisement. Disturbances of any kind on an aircraft, they're all, no matter how merry or cheerful, they all are kind of it's a potential security threat, right? Because the flight crew, they don't know if you're part of some elaborate distraction plot. You start busting out in the song and everybody's all distracted into what you got going on. The next thing you know, Kareem Akbar, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're allowed to just do what you want to do in Jesus' name, the crew, the passengers, they might let their guards down so that something more sinister can take place. But no one knows that. The flight crew, they cannot properly monitor the cabin and do all of their pre-flight checks with you trying to turn the flight into Showtime at the Apollo, right? Like the flight leader, he asked her to be quiet. And she just blatantly ignores his command because, she wants to turn the plane into Mama, I Want to Sing. And then when the flight leader politely yet firmly asks her to be quiet, she goes, oh, I bind that up. Ma'am, what are you binding up? What are you binding up? I mean, maybe a waist trainer. I don't know. You binding, I don't know. But I am so glad that this flight attendant, he was a man. And yes, I'm about to get ethnic. I'm glad he was a black man because she needed a firm, father-like individual to look her in the eye and to be very clear about what's not going to happen. You had a dad in your life, when he give you that look like, we not doing this today, you got to, sometimes men got to just shut it down. Why? Because if not, if they don't reel us in, we won't stop. You're the one being rebellious. And yet you're sitting here attempting to bind something up. I'm trying to understand. What we binding, right? No. What you should have bound up was your lips, right? Just shut your mouth. Bind that up in Jesus' name. Let's try that for a little bit. At the end of the day, y'all, I'm sick of churchianity, right? These people, especially the ones in the music industry, with their bad doctrine and their showmanship, it would just be better if they just went and started singing secular music, because God's people, like all of us on this live stream, those of us over here who are loved by God and who are submitted to his lordship and who recognize that God is glorious and we are not, we don't claim this crew. Now, I can't speak for y'all, but I don't really buy or support, a lot of people's music. Like, I don't care how good they sing. Shoot, I'm tired of all that hollering and all that extra dramatic, those runs anyway. Like, the older I get, the more I be like, can we just Can we just simplify it? Like, can we just sing a hymn and then go and sit down somewhere? But that's me. I'm not trying to impose that on y'all. If y'all like all the hollering, hey, play it to your heart's content. But all I'm saying is, please, just go and sing secular music, because that's what a lot of these people really want to do. I'm not saying that that's her. I don't know her like that, but you didn't get to become, a lot of these, particularly female ones, if they don't get to become like the next Beyonce, they just figure, I'm gonna try my hand in a less, saturated market. So listen, we're good over here. We are indeed good. No thanks. I am so good. Yeah, listen, her voice is amazing, Sister Gloria, but you don't, everybody don't want to hear that on the plane, right? Like, you can do a Facebook Live, perhaps, at the baggage claim, where it's less of a security risk, but you in a whole tube. Then nobody want to hear all that, right? It's just inappropriate. It was the rebellion for me. Like, he was like, no, you can't do that. And she's just going to assert herself and say, well, it's not disturbing anybody. And he's like, you need to be quiet. Go on and sit down somewhere, put your seatbelt on and be quiet. But